Welcome in, welcome back, welcome to Stream-of-Unconsciousness, where the subject's made up and the words don't matter. Today we're going to be covering a little project I did based on a character that I was playing in Star Wars: The Old Republic. I ended up playing a character for quite a bit. Actually, I've got a number of characters I played quite a bit, but this one I just liked playing, even though I think I chose one of the more difficult character classes. But I thought, you know what would be cool is having an action figure representation of this character. And since it was going to be a one-off thing, I basically just cannibalized several other action figures. So what I thought I'd start with in customizing this particular character for my own nefarious purposes, I've always liked Aayla Secura. I've always liked her outfit. I don't know what that says about me, but I've always liked her outfit. So I thought I would start with both that, as she decides to, her joints are very oddly constructed. And I liked the pants on this Jyn Erso figure. So the hips and legs on the Aayla Secura figure were not what I wanted. Let's put it that way. They weren't what I wanted. I wanted something more solidly constructed and not quite as not done quite the same way those were. So I started with both of these characters, and then I went to work with an evil X-Acto knife and some putty, and it went from there. So we'll get right into the slideshow. So there you have it. The completed Reagan figure, although it's spelled Ray as in Ray from the sequel movies, and Gun with an extra N, because I was in a weird mood when I made the character, but, you know, she is... I find her interesting, anyway. So not an exact match to the screenshots, but you know what? It's close enough. I'm enjoying what I have done here, as well as the blaster that I have constructed, and it doesn't... Weirdly, the casting doesn't look that great, but it started off as a blaster that I initially cut down and scraped a bunch of stuff off. Can't even get my hands on here. There we go. And then sculpted a bunch of putty over the top of it. Then I smacked the camera because I'm not good. Then I cast that in silver toned plastic. And then at the end, I decided that I didn't want to have all the paint rub. And since I had painted her right glove, I knew there was going to be more paint rub than I was really comfortable with anyway. So I ended up casting the whole thing in a translucent orangey plastic, and then basically cutting that apart and gluing it together as a single unit. And yes, this is in the game modeled after Deckard's pistol in Blade Runner. It's obviously not a one-to-one match, but you know, there are IP infringement problems and that kind of thing. But anyway, there she is. It took a little while to get here, but I like how it turned out. Pretty pleased with the results. And there you have it. She will go into my Star Wars collection, but also, you know, joins the ranks of my other custom figures that I have done. Some with more work than others. We'll bring those up to the front here. This one had a similar birth and life of being a couple of different characters, a couple of different action figures, basically cut apart, glued together, and puttied over. While this one basically was just a normal Hasbro Indiana Jones figure with a head I ordered off of Etsy that I then recast myself in different colored plastics, because again, I hate paint rub. I hate it with a passion of 1,000 fiery suns. So there you have it. Some custom figures, some custom Star Wars, my new Reagan figure, and I think I'm pretty pleased with the results. Again, as always, thanks for all the subscribers. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for the likes and the comments. They're really appreciated. I love the engagement. Please feel free to comment, question, add concerns, tell an amusing anecdote, reach out to me. You know, this is the reason I do this stuff. I want to make stuff, and I want to show stuff that I make to you guys, and I want you to you know, if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. I love the engagement. Feel free to like and subscribe. That also obviously helps. And we will see you next time.